Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Matasatisham Shankaracharya Matasya Padma Padam Sahastamalakam cha Shishyam Tam Todakam Vartikakara Manyan Asmat Gurun Santatamanatosmi Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidparam. Namaste Shankarananda Guru Padam Bhujanmane Savila Samaha Moha Grahadrasaika Karmane. Verse number 48, that's where we stop. Te atmatvepyanugate Tatedante tatastayoho Atmatvam naiva sambhavyam Samyaktva teryata tata Te atmatvepyanugate tatte tante tatastayoho Atmatvam naiva sambhavyam Samyaktva teryata tata. Anugate tapi, even though they go following, associated to what they, those, what tatte idante, thatness and thisness. Tasta tataha tayoho. So this, that, I, you, etc., even though they are associated, indicating to Atman, but they cannot be synonymous of Atman. Atmatvam naiva sambhavyam. As we saw, Ayam Atma Brahma, Ayam is not Atman. Ayam Atma. So it's an indicator only. It is not a synonym to Atman. And so therefore, like what? Samyaktvadehe. Like the samyak word as a prefix is used, to highlight the particular word. Bhavana, sambhavana. Rakshanam, samrakshanam. Chitam, sanchitam. Kalpa, sankalpa. Samyak is to indicate as an highlight or to glorify or to as an adjective, it can work. In the same way, you cannot say Tat by itself is Brahman. One thing we saw, it is a pronoun. It's in the last class also. Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asid. Having said this, then only he refers to that as Tattvamasi. Tat is indicator of the remotely what is already stated as Sat. Not suddenly somebody say Tattvamasi. What? Tat is, that means what? Tat is a pronoun. So here also, I am Atma Brahma, when it is said, I am is a, by itself is not Atman. I am is indicator of that Atman. This self is Brahman. So this I am is not by itself is a synonym to Atman. So therefore one should understand that the words that are used not necessarily be equal. Only Swatvam, that alone is Atman. Swatvam alone Atman. Now he is going to take up some more, little more on a grammatical side. We'll see that. Tattadante svatanyantve.
Tattadante svatanyantve.
Svantahante parasparam.
Svantahante parasparam.
Pradidvanditaya loke.
Pradidvanditaya loke.
Prasiddhe nasti samshayah.
Prasiddhe nasti samshayah.
Tattadante svatanyatve. Tvantahante parasparam. Pradidvandvatiya loke. Prasiddhe nasti samshayah. When you add tha, when you add to a word specifically, it means the state of being. So here, tattha means of the state of yourness, thatness, sorry. And idantha means the state of or being thisness, that ness word is the word that is used in Sanskrit, ta. So tatta and idanta. Tatte dante. Tatta and idanta. Then swata and anyatve. Tva is also means what? Swatva and anyatva. Swatva means selfness. Anyatva means otherness. And tvanta ahamta. Yourness and minus or I-ness. So these are all used loke prasiddhe. In the world, it is very well known as what? Technical word, pratidvandva. Opposites, antonyms. You, opposite of that, me. That, opposite is this. Self, opposite is it, other. So these are all pradidvandva. Pradidvantitaya loke prasiddhe nasti samshaya. There is a reason why he is going to introduce this particular usage. So that tattha and idantha, tatta then tatta dante. So tatta and idanta, these two are considered to be or as opposites. So like that of swata and anyatva. Swatva and anyatva. And tvanta and ahanta. yourness and I-ness. Parasparam, mutually. Pradidvandvitaya, as the pairs of opposites. Loke, in this world. Prasiddhaye, because it being dual. Prasiddhe dve. These two are pairs of opposites, are very well known. Nasti samshaya. No doubt about that. It is in the world commonly used. Why is that important here? It is important because when you see something which is opposed to something else, that is adhyasa. Because they cannot be together. This and that cannot be together. Either it is here or it is there. Either it is this, it is that. You cannot say this is on that. Both together. It's not possible. You and me, Tvam and Aham, cannot be at the same time in one place. A same thing cannot be referred as Tvam and Aham. A same thing cannot be referred as this as well as that. So this is why it's called Pradidvandva. In other words, if you are thinking of this as that or that as this, that is called adhyasa. Now, therefore, he is trying to arrive at this point that you must clearly understand what is the nature of adhyasa. Adhyasa is projection of a thing on a thing which has opposite quality. In other words, they cannot at any point of time can be at the same thing, referring to the same thing. So grammatically, he brings in that point. And so in the same way, as he continues, the discussion regarding this and that or not being the self is, by the way, now the author goes back to Vikshepa, the topic of the discussion. Vikshepa is Adhyasa eva Vikshepa. Vikshepa is none other than, projection is none other than superimposition, which we have defined before. As much as the shell is not seen, on upon that we have seen the silver. Rope is not seen, on that we have projected or superimposed the snake, etc. So what is superimposed is of opposite quality of what is the substratum. It cannot be in the same place referring to the same thing. It cannot be. It's like this pradidvandvas, tatta idanta, swatva and anyatva, tvanta and ahanta. Parasparam pradidvanditaya loke prasiddhe. All right. Now, let us come to the point here, why he brought that idea in this verse number 50. Anyataya pradidvandvi
Anyataya pradidvandvi
swayam kutastha ishyatam
Swayam kutastha ishyatam
tvantaya pradiyogeshah
Anantaya pratiyogeshah
ahamityatmani kalpitah
Ahavidyam
Anyataya pradidvandvi swayam kutastha ishyatam tantaya pradiyogeshah ahamityatmani kalpitah. Anything opposed to swayam is anyam. Swayam, when you say self, anything other than that is anyam. Self and other. Myself and others are going. Right? Even you are other only. Anything else other than the self is other. So, opposite of swam, swatvam, or the swayam is anyatvam. So, therefore, swayam anyatayaha pradidvandvi, the opposite of other is swayam. Opposite of anyatva is swayatva, swatva. And here in this context, what is this swayam? Kutastha. Iti ishyatam. This is to be understood. So anything that is referred as other is different from, opposed to, not even different, opposed to swayam. So guys, earlier we have seen the word swayam, what does it do? Anya nivaranam nivarakaha. It removes all other things. When you say Rama himself is going, meaning what? Nobody else. I myself can lift this table, meaning nobody else. You yourself should talk about it, meaning not anybody else. So it is anya nivarakaha. Swayam is anya nivarakaha. So anya nivaraka means it is opposed. So therefore, anyatayaha pradidvanti swayam kutastaha ishyata. Understand that the swayam is what is here referring to is kutastha, which is not at any point of time anyata. The opposition of the other is the self, which is the same as kutastha. Now, we have seen in the previous verse, we used to look at it, swataha is opposite of that what is given there. Anyat. Correct. And kutastha is none other than swam. And now I am referring it as aham. Correct or not? So earlier what we have discussed on this point also, what is not, that swam is referred by me as jiva, aham. But aham is opposed to what? Tvam. So aham being the opposite of tvam is now superimposed on swam. Aham, which is opposed to tvam, but now it is superimposed on swam. So kutastaha is now being superimposed by the ahanta or jivatva. So tvantayaha pradiyogyaha eshaha aham. Tvantayaha pradiyogi. The opposite of tvam, tvanta, yourness, yourself, is what? Ahamta, I-ness. That is being used atmani kalpita. It has been imagined on the self. It is not anyatva is superimposed on the self. Yourness is, opposite of yourness is aham. That aham is superimposed on the swam. Meaning what? That which cannot be there at all, which is only opposed to you, and that opposed to you has been superimposed upon self. It is to say that, again, the point being that the shell can never be a silver, and shell and silver cannot be on this, referring to the same thing. As much as rope can never become the snake, and rope and the snake cannot be on this, referring to the same thing. But what we are done here is that swayam has been referred as aham, which is not at all have any connection to this. It is opposite to only tvanta. So here, the opposite of you, however, is I, which is the egoism, the jiva, which is superimposed upon kutastha. The very word pratidvandvi means the opposite pair. Dvandvi. So there is no possibility of coexistence of rope and the snake at the same time in the same place, as much as the shell and the silver cannot coexist at the same place. The same way, kutastha and ahankar cannot be coexisting. If one is there, other is not. But we know kutastha is sanatana paramatma. So therefore, that which cannot be absent. So then, therefore, what is superimposed alone is unreal. If you say rope and snake cannot coexist, already I understand. Where rope is, snake cannot be. But what is here? It is permanent here. What is which has the, because it only lent his astitva, rope alone has lent his astitva and idanta to the snake. Snake is a borrowed existence and borrowed being. Or thisness and satyatva and idanta as given to the snake by the rope, and therefore having taken that, it appears. Therefore, if you say they cannot coexist, what has to go? What has to be falsified? Because the question is, why not we falsify Atman? You cannot, because its nature is aham. Nature is what? Swayam. Being self and being ever existing. So here, that is the idea here. Atmani kalpitaha, imagined on the kutastha.
So, it seems Swami Vidyaranya's purpose here, I could be wrong, is that he's now our daily conversations. Every time we are using the word I, there's always aham. And it is not ever possible to directly reference to kutastha unless there is a context, first context established. Like
No, when we are saying aham, presently we are definitely referring to the jiva. But whereon the aham is superimposed, whereon the aham is done, the vikshepa of aham is done where? It must have some adhisthana. That adhisthana is being not known. It's not there, being not known. Therefore, we are mixing up the idea of aham, which is actually the kutastha, as jiva. That is the idea he's trying to convey here.
So what I'm trying to understand is, he's trying to bring in kutastha as something that cannot be used through a language, like a language construct.
Swayam, Swatva.
Swayam.
Self. That's the word swayam or swatva is self. Kutastha is its nature. Kuta iva stitaha. It is always there.
He is using language to point, to refer to.
That's why he earlier words he says swayam kutastha ishyatam. Understand, swayam is nothing but kutastha. The word swayam is used by him. Kutastha is well known as Atman, but swayam is, here he uses the word swayam only to refer to the self, because the grammatically his self, himself, yourself, there also that self refers to the kutastha only. But we mistake it to be the individual ego. All right, so there are two conceptions of the self, one of the immutable self, Atman, and the kutastha, and the other is the acting self, which is the ego, the jiva. So what is referred as aham, tvantayaha pradidvantaha esha aham iti atmani kalpitaha. So the aham is atmani vikshepitaha, adhyasitaha, kalpitaha. It has been imagined on that. So now, adhyasasya kim karanam. Now let's move on from grammar slowly. Adhyasasya kim karanam. What is the cause or reason or hetu for adhyasa? ahanta svatvayorbhede
ahanta svatvayorbhede
rupyate dantayoriva
rupyate dantayoriva
spashtepi mohamapannaha
prashtepi mohamapannaha
ekatvam pratipedire
katvam prativedire
ahanta svatvayorbhede rupyate dantayoriva spashtepi mohamapannaha ekatvam pratipedire. Adhyasasya kim karanam? What is the adhyasasya or karanam? Bede spashte api. Even though the difference is very clear. Difference between what? Ahanta svatvayoho bede. Even though svatva, which is our own self, and ahanta, referring to only the limited self, vedaha, the difference is spashtaha, clear. Like what? Rupya idantayoho iriva. Like the rupya, the silver, and idam means this. This referring to the shell. Thisness of the shell, which is extended to the silver, and the thisness not refer to the silver at all unless we are in delusion. So this is shell, we don't know, and therefore we refer to this is the silver. So this is belong to what? Shell. So between the shell, which is this is, and rupya, which is silver, tayoho bedaha, the difference between them, spashtaha. As much as swanta or swayanta or swatva and idanta, ahanta or the ego or the ahankar, tayoho bedaha spashtaha. The bedaha, the difference is pretty much clear. Why? How it is clear? Because we have seen that vishesha amshaha baditam bhavati. Samanya amshaha na baditam gacchati. Na badate. All right. So, I am na badate. That is the nature of swayam. It never disappears. What doesn't disappear? I am. Aham asmi. Aham swayam asmi. So this aham asmi is the samanya amsha, as much as this is belong to the shell, which is the samanya amsha. Why samanya amsha? Because it is seen in the silver also. I am is seen in the jiva also. So I am, which belong to Brahman or Atman, is extended to I am jiva. The I am is a samanyamsha. Similar to that of this is the samanyamsha, actually samanyamsha of shell. And what is being extended to? This is silver. No, silverness is the visheshamsha. As much as jivatva is the visheshamsha. So the vishesha amsha, samana amshayoho bedaha spattaha. The common aspect and the exclusive aspect or unique aspect, the difference is very clear. What is the difference? One is baditam, one is abhaditam. One is satyam, another is anritam. One is adhishtana, another is adhyasa. It is spashtam. Spashte api, even though it is clear by vichara, moha apanna, those who are under the spell of delusion, ekatvam pratipedire, they come to pratipedire, believe in what? Ekatvam, they think that it is only one. Even though there is a definite difference between these two, but they cannot see that difference at all. Therefore, one is superimposed on the other. The Brahman in its nature is extended to the Atman or Atmatma means Jivan, and Jivatva is superimposed upon the Brahman. Similar to silverness is superimposed upon the shell. Spashte api and spashte api mohamapannaha, mohena apannaha. That's why Bhagavan also said, jnanena tu tadajnanam yesham na, so, what is that word? Jnanam, ajnanam, tadajnanam. That words, Sanskrit and Gita. That is Dehendriya Manobuddhihi Tasya Adhishtana Mucchate Eter Vimohayatyeshaha Jnanamavritya Dehina. Bhagavan says that the moha, the delusion, is because of the incomplete knowledge or a strong identification with what we already believed in. And this desire, he says, Deha Mana Buddhi, body, mind, and intellect. Dehendriya Mano Buddhihi Asya Adhishtanam. Asya Kamasya Mohasya Adhishtanam. Etaihi, by these, Vimohayati, deludes. Yeshaha, this one, Maya, or this one, Ajnanam, or Avidya here. Mohayati is Eter Vimohayatyeshaha. Jnanam Avritya, having covered the Jnanam. Dehinam. Dehinam Jnanam Avritya. So this Avarana, or the covering, happens because of the Avidya. So, as we know, Avarana and Vikshepa. So, Mohamapanna means it's a resultant of Avarana and Vikshepa. Both. Moham is, as Gurudev would say, it is non-apprehension and misapprehension. Both. The product of that is called Moha here. The delusion is caused by the Ajnanam and Tatkaryam. The ignorance and its effect. So here, continuing on this point, that this very Ajnana, the Mohasya Karanam, we saw that. Mohasya Karanam kya, what is that? What is Mohanam now? I mean, what is Adhyasa here? Mohamapanna, those people who are under the delusion will only be engaging in this Kalpana, Adhyasa. But Mohasya Karanam kim? Adhyasasya Karanam Moha. Adhyasasya Karanam, superimposition is caused by delusion. Delusionasya Karanam kya? What is the cause of delusion? Mohasya Karanam. So, see, the reason why he's talking about this is Ekatvam na Bhedatvam Pashyanti Mudaha. Ekatvam of the Ahankar and Atman. Ekatvam means they don't know it is two. Two means what? One is substratum, another is Adhyasa. They see one only. So when you say the snake, they don't say, I'm seeing snake and rope. No, only one you are seeing. Ekatvam pradipedire. Only one they are seeing. But a man of knowledge is one who sees both. Both means what? What he sees as true and what others say it as that. I'll come to that point a little later because it's a very interesting discussion later on. So, Bedatvam Pashyati Jnani, Abedatvam Pashyati Mudaha. So the Veda between the Rajju and Sarpa, that clearly you can see. When upon dawn of knowledge, and the knowledge is not there, then Ekatvam Pashyati. Here the Ekatvam should not be understood as Paramatma. Here Ekatva is seeing the delusory perception only. Okay. Tadatma Tadatnyadhyasa evatra Ukta Vidyaya Kritaha Avidyayam Nivrittayam Tatkaryam Vinivartate Tadatmyadhyasa evatra Ulukta Vidyaya Kritaha Avidyayam Nivrittayam Tatkaryam Vinivartate. Atra, here, Adhyasaha Kaha. What is the Adhyasa here? Rajau Sarpaha Adhyasitaha. In the rope, snake is Adhyasitaha, is superimposed. I understand that. Atra Atmani, in this Atman, what is Adhyasa? Tadatmyam. Tadatmyam means what? Tad Atma iti bhava. Tad Atma iti. Tad Atma means Deha Atma, Manaha Atma, Buddhihi Atma, Indriyani Atma iti. That is called Tadatmya Buddhi. So Tadatmyam eva Adhyasa. Atra. Because it is not two different things, right? When you are looking at a rope and mistaking it as a snake, both the snake and the rope are outside you. The example that is given is to understand the Adhyasa. In the same way, you cannot comprehend Atman and Ahankara as superimposed. Why? Because they are subjective. It's hard to understand. The example is easy because both are objective. But whereas here, it is the Atman in which the Ahankar is superimposed, and we are pretty much within that Ahankar. If a dream person is told that you are actually a waker, why should he believe you? Why should he believe you? See, if it is a rope and the snake is superimposed, it is being external, I beat it and realize or take it to the light and say, now I see it is rope. No, my vision can be cleared by externally, objectively looking at it. But how do you make sure that a dreamer understands that he's dreaming? Shraddha hona chahiye. Shraddha hona chahiye. Shastra mein shraddha hona chahiye. Guru mein shraddha hona chahiye. Without that, why should the dreamer would even listen to a person who's saying you are a waker? Why should he? And how would he listen to him? Okay, I am a waker. Who are you? कौन है तुम? Who are you then? Are you part of my dream or outside this? If you are part of the dream, when I wake up, what will happen to you? What will happen to you then? If I wake up?
You are gone.
So you are also my dream only, no? So here,
The dreamer is a little serious. You will see that the person in the dream also he's saying something contrary to what he thinks.
Of
There
course.
may be some, even without the Shastra knowledge, that person might listen because he's saying something contrary.
Yeah, so why should you listen to me? If somebody tells contrary to what you believe, I mean, if I say this is mud,
Yeah,
you say that there's something wrong with you.
correct. That could be, that is the correct response of most people, but there may be a small minority who will.
It's different. That is that all samskara. It's called samskaras. Why the reason why a person would believe in something which he does not, he never had thought about, requires samskara. Purvakrita samskara. So here, what he says, tadatmya abhyasa, tadatmya adhyasa eva atra. And what is it? Why is it adhyasa happening? Purva ukta avidyaya krita. Purva ukta. Earlier said, where? Verse number 25. What is it in verse number 25? What is it in verse 25? Ayam jivahana kutastam vivinakti kadachana anadir avivekoyam mula avidya iti gamyata. या अविद्या के कारण ही अध्यास होता है, यात्र अध्यास तादात्म्य रूपेण तद आत्मा इति रूपेण अध्यास. This is the self. This is me. Deha aham, manah aham, buddhya iti tadatmya. Tadatma iti. So here, Purvokta avidyaya kritaha. It is because of the ignorance which is spoken earlier. So therefore, avidyayam nivrittayam. Both are in Saptami. Avidyayam nivrittayam. In the absence of avidya, tat karyam, which is tadatmyam, adhyasaha vinivartate. कारणस्य अभावे कार्यस्य अभावः. कारणस्य नाशे कार्यस्य नाशः. कार्यस्य नाशे कारणस्य नाशः न संभवति. If a pot is there which is the karya effect, and pot is caused by the mud, destruction of the pot is not destruction of the mud. So one should not think that ahankara nashaha independently can take place without ajnana nash. You understand? So even the physical body being a product of ajnanam, killing the body or death is not the end of the ajnana. One cannot say, मैं अज्ञानी हूं, मैं मर जाता हूं. मैं खुद मरूं, खुद, what called? What is it? No, what is a dead body? It's called in the way. खुद मैं लाश बना हूँगा. This is the context why I'm talking about that way. मैं खुद को लाश बनाऊंगा. What? I make myself a dead body, and that doesn't solve the problem. So here, avidyayam nivrittayam. Only when avidya removed, that karyam nivartate. Karyasya nivrittaye, karanasya nivritti na sambhavati. Karanasya nivrittaye, karyasya nivritti. So ahankarasya nashaha ajnana nashena eva. Na any other way. So अज्ञान नाश के लिए क्या कर्म करना चाहिए? कोई कर्म नहीं कर सकते हो. अज्ञान कर्म से नहीं मिट जाएगा. Any action it cannot go. अज्ञानेन तो तद अज्ञानम नाशितम भवति. Knowledge alone can remove the ajnana, not any other thing. As it is said, you keep on what do you call? What do you call that?
Brooding.
Brew, huh?
Brooding.
not brooding. You keep on brooming the entire room, darkness of the room will not go away. Avidyayam nivrittayam tat karyam vinivartade. So that is the idea here. On the removal of ignorance alone, the effect of the ignorance, which is to the point is tadatmya, and tadatmya causes moha, and moha causes adhyasa. So here the adhyasa is directly connected to tadatmya. Avidya, when it is there, I don't know who I am, therefore I consider myself as something else, adhyasa. And that delusion keeps making you project more and more and more and more. Mohasya karanam ajnanam. Mohat tadatmyam. Tadatmyam eva adhyasa. So the tadatmya adhyasa attribution of the identity. Okay. Now, so avidya nasha. This is what is the point that he is finally coming to. Okay. Avidya vritti tadatmye.
Avidya vritti tadatmye.
Vidyayeva vinashyatah.
Vidyayeva vinashyatah.
Vikshepasya swarupam tu.
Vikshepasya swarupam tu.
Prarabdhakshayamikshate.
Prarabdhakshayamikshate.
Avidya vritti tadatmye. Vidyayeva vinashyatah. Vikshepasya swarupam tu. Prarabdhakshayamikshate. Ahankara nashe jivasya nasha. Jivasya nashe maranam. Iti पूर्व पक्षी. अज्ञान मिट जाएगा तो जीव नहीं होगा. Because कार्य. It's like mud is destroyed, meaning pot is destroyed. So pot as an entity will not be there. In the same way, if ajnan nash ho gaya, to ahankar or jivatva nash bhi hoga. When jivatva nash hoga, to what happens? You don't exist anymore. That means anybody who is realized doesn't exist. अब मर जाओगे अज्ञान में. So now that is what is very important, because Advaita Vedanta holds the view of Jivan Mukti. Otherwise, what happens? Upon realization, one becomes a Videha Mukti. So that means knowledge, when it happens, in the dawn of knowledge or the removal of ignorance, means you physically die. This, some people hold the view that Mukti means Videha. Mukti means destruction of the body and leaving. But Advaita Vedanta Shankaracharya holds the view, no, Jivan Abhi Mukti Sambhavati. Ajnana Nashe Jivan Mukti. So, how is that possible, and what is the intricacy involved there? Now you see, avidya avritti tadatmye vidyaya eva vinashyatah. When the avidya vinasha, the destruction of avidya or ajnanam, when takes place, avarana goes away. There are two aspects to this Maya, right? Avarana and Vikshepa. Misapprehension or non-apprehension and misapprehension. Not seeing and projecting. So the projection is called Adhyasa or Vikshepa, and prior to that condition is the state of non-comprehension. This is called Avarana because it is Tirobhutam. Tirobhutam, imperceptible, covered, concealed, veiled. So when Ajnana Nasha takes place, first thing that happens is Avarana Nasha. Avarana means the recognition of the self takes place. It is like a person who is very thirsty, walking in the desert, and he sees the oasis there, and he is very eager to run towards that and to drink the water because he wanted it very badly. Upon reaching there, what he sees or recognizes is Mariuchika, Maru Mariuchika. It is all a mere appearance. It is only a desert sand. Marubhumi, desert sand. Even though the ice will still report water. Ice won't stop. Ice will still see the optical illusion. Vikshepa in the form of seeing by the eyes will continue. So in the example of rope and snake, we must come out of it right now. Or the silver and the shell, come out of it right now. Is it not the senses continue to see the world as different varieties, etc., even upon knowing the substratum is one? क्यों होता है? विक्षेपस्य स्वरूपम तु प्रारब्ध क्षयम ईक्षते. Prarabdha kshayam ikshade, waiting for the end of prarabdha. So what happens is, in a Jivan Mukta, the falsification takes place, not elimination. दो जो मैं देख रहा हूं वो मिथ्या है, illusion, false, and created by what? Senses. My senses are reporting. My senses are reporting that the sky is blue. It's not. It's not is Avarana Shakti is removed. Avarana is removed. Ajnan in the form of Avarana is removed. Avarana means misunderstanding. Projection has not gone. Projection is there. Why? Body is there. Body is still looking at the sky. Eyes are looking at the sky. Eyes are reporting it's blue. Will it stop? Will he no more see the blue? No, he will see. Will he not have the body? Will he have the body? But a mithya hai. This is a Jivan Mukti Lakshana. Pure Pauran Pashyan Nara Yuvati Nama Kridimaya Suvesha Alankaran Karakalita Sadrishan Chitra Sadrishan Swayam Sakshat Drashte Tapicha Sata, what is it? Swayam Sakshat Drishte Tapicha, that verse I'm not remembering. Munir Navyamoham Bhajati Gurudiksha Kshatatamaha. That's the last line. No, there in the first line verse of Jivan Mukti Lahari, he said, Jivan Muktananda Lahari, Pure Pauran Pashyan Nara Yuvati Nama Kritimayan. Even though he sees the city filled with Nara, Yuvati, etc., Suvesha Alankaran, Kalita Sadrshan, Chitra Sadrshan, like the picture on a canvas, they are all appearing with so many different colors and ornaments, etc. Swayam Sakshat Drishta. I am only a Sakshat Drishta. In this way, one who is able to clearly identify that what is seen is false. Such a person, na punar moham yadhi. Munir Navyamoham Bhajadi Guru Diksha Kshatatama. One whose darkness, ignorance has been destroyed by the Guru Diksha. So here also, Vikshepasya Swarupam, the nature of the Vikshepa is waiting for a Parabdha to end. Because otherwise, as I said before, Jnana mil gaya, boom, gone. Where did he go? And then if that is the case, then who will teach? Ghosts? All the Upanishads are taught by whom? Jivan Muktas only. Those who are clearly understood this, but still they were there physically to communicate to the people, to the Sishyas, and then further it went on like that. So, Jivan Muktaha, he sees the false and knows it as false, but still reported by the senses as there. Why? Prarabdha is still there. Until the Prarabdha Kshaya, that's why I say Prarabdha Kshayam Ikshate, waits for, depending on. Ikshate, Apeksha Karoti, Apeksham Karoti. Prarabdha Kshayam Ikshate, Vikshepasya Swarupam Prarabdha Kshayam Ikshate. So Vikshepasya Swarupam, the nature of Vikshepa remains until the end of or the Kshaya of Prarabdha. And therefore, a Mahatma who has gained this correct knowledge, when the senses and others report still the existence of the experience of the world, he will just wait for praying only one thing: may my Prarabdha end soon, so that I'm done with this. Not that he will suffer that. He will not suffer the situation.
Yeah. Does that mean he still has some part of that ahankar?
No, it's false. False. It is
So how does
completely
he function?
his function. He knows that it is a prarabdha, that is prarabdhaya pushyati vapuhu, prarabdham samarpitam swavapuhu, yesha manisha mama. That's why it is also said, he will surrender himself to the prarabdha. प्रारब्ध मुझे ऐसा करने के लिए आज्ञा दे रहा है. Though the prarabdha is now acting on me to make me do this, may do it. There, that's why, in the 18th chapter also, karta bhoktra, that aspect will be absent in. Bhagavan also said, Name partasti kartavya, I don't have anything to do, but I'm still doing it. But just because others will follow me and they don't know why they are following me, I am not doing it. In fact, in that portion he says, Yati Shayam Navarteyam Jat Karmanya Tendritaha Mama Vartmana Vartante. Utsedi Rime Lokaha. If the others will go astray if I don't do it. So that the beginning of the subject matter is Yatyad Acharati Shreshtaha. So, yeah, Shreshta Purusha Yad Acharati, even though knowing well that he is all false, but he will do the right thing so that others do not do the wrong thing.
It's like an actor.
Correct. He will do as an actor so that others do not do the wrong thing. Though, even whether right or wrong, both are equally false too.
The classical definition of avarana is, Vikshepa is, avarana has to first exist, only then the Vikshepa can have.
Correct.
Now, Vidyananda is making the.
We'll explain now. Next.
Yeah.
I know that question is valid. Yes. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha.
Hari Om.